Mid-American Energy. Part of putting power in your hands is helping to keep families safe. That's why Mid-American provides free educational safety programs to schools, asks you to call 811 before you dig, have annual furnace inspections, and be aware of hazards at home. Mid-American Energy safely delivers electricity and natural gas to us in good times and stormy ones. That's Mid-American Energy.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
Why do I look for the seal? It's about trust. Whether I'm buying a car, hiring a contractor, finding a tax preparer, or an honest mechanic, the Better Business Bureau's seal means this business meets high standards. When I see the seal, I know I'll get what I pay for. No more taking chances and no more worries. And I feel good about supporting local businesses. My life is so much easier knowing I can always trust BBB accredited businesses. It pays to look for the seal. See for yourself at bbb.org/Iowa.
Stay cool with Carhartt from G&L Clothing. High performance jackets, tees, and shorts. Whatever you do, you'll be more comfortable in Carhartt. Find it all at the Carhartt store inside G&L Clothing.
G&L Clothing. Your size, your style, we've got it all.
Word of mouth. That's the main ways we receive our customers now, and after being here 10 years, that has just exploded for us. And that's a big area of our business because people like the way they were treated. The customer experience we can provide is second to none, and we're committed to it. And I'm here to make sure that gets done.
Schottenkirk Chevy on the west end of Hickman, Waukee, WaukeeChevy.com.
Let's keep it going here in Fort Dodge as we welcome you back to Harlan Rogers Park, the home of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union State Softball Tournament. It's the third of five games here today for semifinals. Right here on the Mid-American Energy Iowa High School Girls Sports Network. We are here on Diamond 2, and we open up the first 3A semifinal with a matchup between the Davenport Assumption Knights and the Center Point-Urbana Stormin' Pointers. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the State Softball here in Fort Dodge. Brian Carlisle alongside Zach Carlisle. Welcome to the pregame show. We're going to roll through this a little quicker here only because we finished a little late on that last game, so we're going to get this one going right now here in just a few minutes. So the things that we do know about, these guys have never met. And Davenport Assumption, 42-game winning streak, hottest one in the state of Iowa right now. And, Zach, I'm going to let you go ahead and let's talk a little bit about these two teams if you want to kind of just run it through, and then let's talk about the keys, and then we'll jump into the starting lineups.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about Center Point-Urbana. They're going to be the underdog today. I mean, that's just how it's gone. Davenport Assumption's so good, just kind of destroying everybody in this postseason and just kind of beating up on everybody all season long, expecting them to be as good as they are, and that's exactly what it's been. Center Point-Urbana, we're going to rely on they're going to have to try to scratch across some runs. They're not an offense that puts up a ton. Davenport Assumption's very good pitching staff as well, so this is going to be one of those matchups. What can CPU do against Davenport Assumption? It's going to be a challenge today.
Yeah, and as we talked about the keys, the ride the wave, don't change anything, know your formula, and then I think, did you touch the 25 runs all season? These guys have given up 25 runs all season, 0.36 earned runs per game. That is really, really good, folks.
Yeah, that's not the ERA, but that's how many runs they're giving up. They're giving up less than 4/10 of a run per game. I mean, that's just insane.
That is
25 runs all season in 42 games. It doesn't get any better than that. So for Davenport Assumption, their pitching and their defense will be a key. And they want to ride the wave. They don't want to change it. They want to be who they are, know their formula. For Center Point-Urbana, they need to get creative a little bit. If I had to find some keys, they're going to have to find a way to score. You got to get base runners, find a way to do it. And then number two, rely on experience. We see a lot of young teams in the state tournament. This is one of those veteran. experienced teams. They're going to need those guys, those veterans, the juniors and the seniors. You're going to need them if you want to upset the #1 team in the state and the hottest team in the, I don't know, the country? I don't know. I mean, it's insane. 42 straight. So embrace that underdog role, and let's see what this game brings us. Should be a lot of fun.
So let me run down through these starting lineups. We'll start with Davenport Assumption. Leading off, the center fielder, Sophie Van Severen. Number 2, second baseman, Olivia Wardlow, bat second. Batting third, number 27, Hannah Kelly, your third baseman. Cleanup spot, number 13, Emma Valenas, the catcher. Batting fifth, number 34, Carly Salmon, the designated player. Hitting for the pitcher, Smith. Followed by, it'll be number 29, Hannah Wislander, the first baseman. Batting seventh, number 22, Leah Nelson, the left fielder, number 22, Leah Nelson. Batting eighth, number 35, your shortstop, Nicole Yoder. And rounding out the starting lineup, your right fielder, number 12, Emma Johnson. Let's jump over here for Center Point-Urbana. Leading off, number 2, Olivia Breck, your second baseman. Batting second, number 34, Claire Chandler, your shortstop. And batting third, your center fielder, number 24, Caitlin Banning. Batting fourth in the cleanup spot, your left fielder, number 50, Maddie Carr. Batting fifth, your right fielder, number 52, Taylor Henderson. Batting sixth, your catcher, number 40, Claire Holtz. Batting seventh, your designated player, number 20 or 56. Is it 56 or 26? 26. There we go. That's what happens when you write it fast. Regan Schote. And batting eighth, your third baseman, number 18, Alyssa Wade. And batting ninth, number 23, your first baseman, Megan Krogan. Whew, there we go.
Well, I mean, if you look at the pitchers, two seniors on the mound of this semifinal game. It should be fun. We get to see Bailey Smith first, a senior who's 12-4. Not necessarily, I mean, they have two workhorses, Natalie Cook and Bailey Smith, that had split exactly even 94 2/3 innings coming into the state tournament prior to their first round win over West Marshall, over Humboldt. But so we're going to see a lot of Bailey Smith and Smith. 12-4 on the year with a 2.14 ERA, and then on the other side, Nicole Timmons, 128 2/3 innings, and her ERA is .44. So
look at her strikeouts, I mean, 280.
It's insane, 280 strikeouts. Her opponent batting average is .060. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So Center Point-Urbana is going to have a tough time. They're going to see you got to find a way to get base runners and then see what you can do from there.
This is something, though, that you and I talked about when we looked at this game and we seen who we were going to cover. What was interesting is the first thing we thought of is how do you get a run against this team? How do you score?
How do you get base runners?
So, honestly, in my mind, it's got to be Maddie Carr, that junior. She was hurt last year. She's now back playing. She's got 11 home runs, 49 ribbies. She's got to be very, very productive. But we're gonna see right away what this offensive side of Davenport Assumption can do. And so Sophie Van Severen will lead it off.
I think Center Point-Urbana has a small win already in the fact that they're the home team, so they're going to get the 7 at-bats.
Automatically.
No matter what, but I mean, so they're hoping for 6 at-bats and then win it in the top of the 7th. But
absolutely. So
we'll see.
As you run down the first 3 hitters, you go 424, 431, 417. Really? Wow. And then you go 427 again for your cleanup hitter. That's good stuff. I mean, that's just solid.
Well, it's a solid offense, but I don't even think – the offense doesn't need to be very good for Davenport Assumption. When you're that good as a pitching staff and as a defense, when you're not giving up any runs, you don't need much on offense. But the fact that they've been able to score on the offensive side as well just completely adds to how dominant they've been. It's been a lot of fun to watch this team go in Class 3A, and obviously they are the favorite, and we'll see. you never know what magic comes around this time of year at the state tournament. So Center Point-Urbana trying to be that challenge.
And there's your start right away. Just a quick slap through the middle or through the right side as the second baseman was playing in. Shot it through the right side, base hit. So Van Severin starts it off here. And that's going to be Olivia Wardlow, your second baseman, batting .431.
That's a solid lineup, isn't it? They did a few things right. I mean, they're so patient, and they've got a lot of power. They're just very smart. They're very cerebral as an offense.
So Wardlow will step in. Takes that first pitch in there. It's called strike. Let's run around your defensive set here. Smith on the hill. Holtz behind the plate. Wade at third. I got to see this one. I'm missing something there. It is Chandler. Chandler at short. Breck at second. Krogan at first. There's a slap to the shortstop. Fires across. That ball gets away from the first baseman. And right away, Davenport Assumption putting some pressure on. So Van Severin goes from first to third on the throw. E6 there. First and third. Or second and third, nobody out with that error. That's a rough start.
Well, and that would be one thing that Center Point-Urbana would tell you they can't do in this game, and that is make the mistakes in the field because they're given an offense that much more to work with. You want to make them earn pretty much everything that they possibly can.
Yes.
But, second and third, nobody out. A solid start for Davenport Assumption.
So Hannah Kelly steps in, takes first pitch, outside, ball one. And let me finish up the defensive alignments because things happen so fast. Carr in left, Banning in center, Henderson in right. So Hannah Kelly batting .417. Slaps it down, and it's a fair ball, and you're going to get the out there.
Wow.
Well, it's impressive when you have all 9 players almost in the infield.
Talk about a game of inches. That thing was fair by not much. And just an outstanding play by Holtz defensively. The catcher to pop up and
squeeze it up, and then she ran down Sophia Van Severin. And then you had your Wardlow move up to third on a great heads-up play by her.
Well, the umps are going to talk this out. Right now, that would go down in the books as a fielder's choice.
Yep. Yeah, it'd be a fielder's choice, and then
it's a foul ball. They're going to change that and overturn that. And that's actually advantage Davenport Assumption, with it being a foul ball. It takes the out off the board.
And it puts your runners back at second and third, though. So second and third, nobody out.
Wow.
And Kelly gets a foul ball, so it's going to be 0-1 the count.
Yeah, I mean, the home plate umpire called that right away, gave the indication that that was a fair ball.
Interesting.
And then they discuss it and change it. I'm a little surprised that they changed it, but
if you're Center Point-Urbana, that's kind of a bummer call.
I mean, that would have been
a huge out. So now, can Kelly make that one go? So you're sitting with an 0-1 count here. Nobody out in the inning, though.
Right, it takes that out off the
Out's
board.
off, and
so now
second and third still.
Give yourself a chance.
A swing with the foul ball out of play. 1-2 now. So a big turn of events for CPU right away. And it really did advantage Davenport Assumption there. So here comes the pitch. Swing, and this one gets popped up and squeezed up by the shortstop. So actually it worked out about the same. You would have had first and third. Instead, you have second and third.
Center Point-Urbana will definitely take that outcome, though, after the overturn.
Yeah, tough overturn. So Valinas stepping in, the catcher hitting .427. See if she can get these first runs across here for Davenport Assumption. The pitch.
I mean, their team batting average is 3 points shy of 400. I mean, it's – and they can beat you with the long ball, 20 homers on the year. They've driven in 315 runs. They've scored 353. So.
And the other side, which we haven't even touched on, is they played primarily a 5A schedule.
Right.
Because of the what they were in for the conference.
In the Mississippi Athletic Conference. So you're playing out there on the border. I mean, they had quite the trip coming from Davenport.
Well, you're playing likes of the Bettendorfs and Clintons.
But they got here and they expected to hang out for the week, though. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, and we'll touch on how Fort Dodge handles everything up here. They do a tremendous job.
Fantastic job.
There's a swing and ground ball, picked up, fired across, but it's not caught. So you're going to go E5.
Yeah, so that'll be an E5, and that is an unearned run.
Just not the start if you're Center Point-Urbana that you want. And here comes
That's
their coach out to the – Don Venurni, he's headed to the circle to talk to him. He's going to have a pinch runner as well.
Yeah, it's Aaron Ackerman for Davenport Assumption, number 3.
Aaron Ackerman. But yeah, we'll just kind of run back through here real quick, talking about Davenport Assumption. So you've played the Pleasant Valleys and Linn-Mar's, Iowa City Highs, Davenport North, Burlington, West. That's just an incredible schedule that they're going through. And, we talked about it, 25 runs given up all season. That's just –
and only 15 of them earned.
Yes, which even makes it even more impressive.
42 games coming into this state tournament.
Yep. Lost their first game to Moline 4-3 and have not lost since then. So it'll be Carly Salmon, designated player, stepping in, hitting .375 on the season. Runners on first and third, 1-0 here in favor of Assumption. And Ackerman heads down to second on the stolen base. So now with 1 out in the inning, looking to put some more runs up here. Smith ready to fire. The pitch. Swing, foul ball out of play. 1-1 the count here. I'll be curious to see how Center Point wants to do this on the offensive side with with this juggernaut that you are talking about, Assumption. You've got to fight away.
It's going to be a challenge at the plate, but they're going to have to be patient and try to work some deep counts and see what they can do.
Wasn't able to get anything there. 1-2 the count now on Salmon. 375 trying to lay a bunt down. 364 is low side of the batting average for this team. 6 of them over 400. It's just impressive numbers. Here comes the pitch. Great stop right there by Holtz. 2-2 the count now here on Salmon. And the pitch. Just off the outside edge. Full count here. So Smith ready to fire here for Center Point-Urbana. And rings her up on the outside edge. So 2 down here.
That's a big second out. I know it's just the first inning, but that's a big second out.
To get the strikeout included, that's just huge.
You want to limit this to 1.
I mean, do.
It's already the first inning. Davenport Assumption doesn't give up runs, so you want to make sure it's just 1 to start this game. And Smith's actually pitched a nice first inning.
So bringing up Wislander, Hannah Wislander, 495. This is your high one right here, 495 on the season. And honestly, it really would be a win for CPU to give up 1 run here. You would be really
Smith has
happy.
Pitched well.
There's swing on the ball driven out to right field, and it's squeezed up by Henderson for the 3rd out of the inning. But not before Davenport Assumption. 1 run on one hit? 2 errors and 2 left. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back as CPU will come to bat.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields. Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
Welcome back to the Mid-American Energy Iowa High School Girls Sports Network as we are just underway here. Davenport, Assumption, and Center Point-Urbana. Let's run around your defensive set here for Davenport. Timmons in the circle. Valenis behind the plate. Kelly at third, Yoder at short, Wardlow at second, Wislander at first, Nelson in left, Van Severin in center, Johnson in right, and that's your alignment for the Knights. Leading off here for Center Point-Urbana, number 2, Olivia Brecht. Brecht hitting .415 on the season as Timmons ready to go. First pitch is high.
So Timmons' 25th start of the season.
This is Nicole Timmons, correct?
Yes, 23-0 on the year. An ERA of .44.
Wow. That's pretty good stuff.
Well, the team ERA is .48. So
that is really good. The pitch.
If you're wondering where the 42-1 comes from.
Yeah, you might start looking there.
That's a good start.
So 2-1 here to Brecht, leading off CPU's bottom half of the first inning. That pitch is high, so 3-1 now.
And I think the key for Center Point-Urbana, you come in, you can't, it's 1-0. I think their mindset has to be, well, we're not going to get any hits off of them. They're too good as a pitching staff. You can't think that way. You have to be aggressive and be confident in yourself. This is a team that that opening round, I believe, is 14-2 over a 33-win Humboldt squad. So,
yeah, and we got talking to a few people that actually seen the game. Humboldt did not help themselves though, and that is a leadoff walk for Brecht. So a good start.
That's how you start it. That's where it starts. You got to get the base runners, give yourself a chance, and then see if you can try to drive them in, try to move them up. You're gonna have to play some small ball because it's gonna be hard to to just slug out a bunch of runs against these guys.
Can't get in a slugfest. That's not gonna work. So the shortstop, Claire Chandler, will step in, number 34. The pitch, she's looking to lay it down, took that one high for a ball. Senior hitting .356 on the season. You like the start of your CPU, though. If you get that leadoff walk, that's good stuff. Tries to get the bunt down, was unsuccessful.
We've seen that a lot today in these games, the inability to get those bunts down on the ground and in fair territory. We've seen a lot of popped-up bunts today as well.
Yep. And that's a struggle for your offense when that happens. So 1-1 to count here. Just early stages of this game for the 3A semifinal. That one in there called strike. 1-2 now here. It's Timmons starting to settle in here for Assumption.
This is an offense that hits 400 as a unit. Slugged 28 homers.
This one popped straight back at us. We got somebody going to catch that one, Zach? Do we got an all-star?
No idea.
Okay, we got it. That's another all-star. There's like the third or fourth one now. Stay 1-2 the count still here to Chandler.
It's a team that's hit 28 home runs as well on the season.
I think Carr leads that. There's a swing. Another one out of play.
I think what I like about them is that the Storm and Pointers are a patient offense. Over 100 walks taken as a team. So they're not afraid to work the count a little bit.
And they like to run.
Patient.
Yeah, they do like to run as well. What, 51 stolen bases on the season? And Breck is your leader there.
Coming into that opening ground game.
So Chandler working it back to a even count, 2-2, with Breck at first base. Nobody out here in the bottom half of your first inning. 1-0 in favor of Davenport Assumption. Another foul ball. Boy, she's working the pitching. It's really good at bat.
And she's squaring them, and they're fouling straight back too. She's not late and fouling them off to the left. She's squaring them up. She's seeing the ball well.
So I love looking at the outfield here. You have two players in left and left center, and right center is completely open, not expecting her to pull the ball. She does hit it right back to the second baseman, and she is safe. Beats it out. Infield single. First and second, nobody out. Here comes the Storm and Pointers.
Who says they don't have a chance? Come on.
Did we talk about that?
I said anything as.
I think you said anything can happen here in Fort Dodge.
Well.
And usually it does.
That's a good start. I wonder if they will try to lay the sacrifice down now to try to move them up to second and third, and then you have a chance to.
It's going to bring up number 24, center fielder.
Runner in third with less than 2 outs.
Caitlin I wasn't sure if you were dumb as you thought. Caitlin Banning stepping in. 452 on the season here. But a good start here to their first inning at bats here with both batters reaching base. Pitch in their first strike. 1-1 your count here. And this, I think if you and I remember looking right, I believe this is one of the younger teams that play out here. I think we have a freshman and an 8th grader, and so 2-1 now. So what you have a sophomore in Yoder at short. Your third baseman is a freshman. Yeah, wow, you just did very young. Great pitch right there. Off speed, called strike. Your senior's in the circle. Or no, Timmons is no, she's not. Oh yeah, she is. Yep, Nicole Timmons is a senior. And a strikeout, 1 down here in the inning. Going to bring up Maddie Carr, your left fielder. And this is your power hitter here. 448 on the season. She has 11 home runs. She has 11 of the 28 here for Center Point. So stepping in, here we go. First pitch in there, called strike.
A little surprised they didn't get that sacrifice down to try to move the runners up to second and third there.
You still have to probably work the concept or the idea of manufacturing a run here or there. You're not going to power hit with these guys. 1-1 the count. Maddie Carr looking to see if she can maybe get Center Point-Urbana on the scoreboard. Big swing and a miss. 1-2 now. Up. Yep. She cleared the hands. Illegal pitch. The old IP, as they call it.
I mean, it's the equivalent of a balk.
Yep.
on the other
And it should
side.
go back to 1-1. Illegal, that strike will not count. So it moves it over to the other side. Should be 2-1.
Well, that gets the runners to second and third. So,
But now she doesn't have to do as much. Now she can hit a ball hard
well,
through the infield.
It's in effect like if Banning would have laid down a sacrifice
Yes,
spot. I mean, it
exactly.
gets you to the same result, second and third with one out.
That
It changes
pitch.
your thought process a little bit as a hitter. You can say, all right, well, now I'm going to try to bounce one to the right side, or I'm going to try to lift one in the air to the outfield to try to score a run instead of the pressure of I need to get a base hit here to try to do this.
Timmons
There's
comes
options.
comes right back with the strike. 2-2 now.
It's a good pitch.
Yeah, it really was. Set right on the outside corner, not able to get that one. So full count.
And they'll learn the strike zone as this game moves along, and
it'll be who learns it earlier.
Adjust
right.
the umpires, exactly right.
So Carr draws the walk. And that's going to make bases loaded with one out.
They have really put together some good at-bats in this first inning, staying patient, as we mentioned, a very patient offense.
So that's going to bring up Taylor Henderson, number 52, your right fielder. She's 405 on the season.
And all of a sudden, you draw a visit to the circle, from Ron Farrell, and then they start talking, and Center Point-Urbana, they're putting some pressure on here in this first inning, and you got to like that if you're a Storm and Pointer fan for the future of this game.
Yes.
You say, hey, we've put ourselves in a good position to start this, and that gives us confidence for later innings as well that, hey, we can put base runners on. We can give ourselves chances to score.
Well, and you also wonder, and honestly, you're giving up 15 earned runs. Are you even in this position very often? So do you practice this position very often? You don't see it in a game. You don't. You got to make sure you remember, hey, this is what we've got to do. Cut the run down at home or whatever your idea is. But you've got to remember, we haven't done this for 10 games, We got to still remember these are high schoolers.
They give up a run in the postseason.
First pitch in there to Henderson, a cold strike. Well, that's true. So go back to when the last time they've given up a run was against North Scott, and they won 10-1. That would have been 8 or 9 games ago. There's pitch in there, called strike. 0-2 the count now here quickly on Henderson.
Henderson's driven in 31 this season. That is good for third on the team in that category.
Ooh, that is a great take, but a scary take if you're little high. Ball 1-2 the count now here on Henderson. Bases loaded here for Center Point-Urbana with one out. That's low, so 2-2, even the count now.
You just want to put the ball in play and just make something happen.
Fouled back and out of play.
If you can try to use her power against her and try to get one up in the air, then you have a chance at a sac fly of some sort.
You want to
get a run across.
You just get the ball out of the infield, and you've done your job.
And a ground ball to the right side might still get the job done. It just depends on
how
quickly they can get it home.
How hard,
or if it's a slow roller, that tends to score runs too. So
yes,
it's just all about putting the ball in play in this situation.
A lot of options here if you're Center Point-Urbana. Don Venorny. He's got to like what he's seen here, though. You're putting pressure on these guys. The pitch. Ground ball foul down the third base side. We'll do it again. 2-2 your count. One out here.
Just out in front of that off speed, but
hanging in. 1-0 your score here, Davenport. Assumption scores in the top half of the first. Center Point trying to match them here in the bottom half. The pitch. Ground ball to the left side. That's going to get the job done. It gets that runner in.
That's an outstanding at-bat.
5-3 on the put out, but Breck scores from third, and it's 1-1.
That's an RBI. Don't get an RBI for that, and Just well done. Fighting off pitches, staying alive in the at-bat, and then hitting that ground ball and getting the RBI and tying this thing up. Really well done by center Point-Urbana.
It's going to bring up your catcher, number 40, Claire Holtz. And the other thing that you got to like here for Center Point, one hit here, and you could 3-1. She's able to just find something to hit here. 0-1 the count as Timmons fires a fastball by her. The pitch. Big swing and a miss. Quickly 0-2 the count here on Holtz. 393 on the season for the young lady. Swing and a miss, goes down on strikes, swinging, third out of the inning. So Timmons does a good job of limiting that damage as well. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left on base. So after 1 inning to play here in Fort Dodge, 1-1, Davenport Assumption and Center Point-Urbana. And we were talking, actually, since we had to kind of shorten everything up, we didn't get a really chance to run the keys to the game for the most part on this one. Get creative, find a way to score. It all starts with getting base runners. They did that in the first inning. A great job by that. And then rely on experience, a veteran team. You need them to upset the number 1 team. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one goes. But yes. As we were joined in the box by Paul Yeager, Iowa Public Television. He's going to be jumping on. Well, if he's wanting to, we'll see if he wants to.
I think he doesn't have a choice.
I got to get him on here for 1 inning with me here. I have yet to do a game with this guy, so this will be the first one I get to do.
An inning.
An inning, at least.
An inning, that could go for half an hour.
That's true, but you'll get cool for a half hour.
Add me in another 30 minutes after sitting outside. You guys up here in the country club.
Yeah, well, we try.
I'm just a working man down on the floor.
Yeah, but you get to work tomorrow, and we get to go back to our normal world.
This is true. This is true.
So joining me here on the headset, Paul Yeager. So we head to the top of the second. It'll be Leah Nelson, the left fielder, number 22, hitting .459. Looks to lay one down. Fouls it back. 0-1 the count.
You want me to keep your book? No, I don't need to. No, you got it. You got it. I mean, I'm sitting in. I'm a guest. I don't know if what I'm supposed to do. What's the protocol?
You got to do book if you're coming here.
I have my own way of doing it.
Oh, he's got his own book. What? Yeah. This guy does everything his own way, and we're just in his world enjoying it. 0-1 here. The pitch. Swing, and a ball driven out to left field. Base hit for Leah Nelson to start the top half of the second for Davenport Assumption. Paul, talk a little bit about what you guys have got coming up tomorrow, because you take over after this.
We do. We only have 5 games tomorrow compared to 10 today. So it is a breeze compared to the week. Speaking of breezes, I see that thing still from the northeast as that flag is moving up. It's real nice. We've got some cloud cover, and we're just kind of hoping for that tomorrow. All we want is dry.
And dry's good. Stolen base by Leah Nelson.
I think they were trying to get that sacrifice down, and I'm not 100% sure Yoder executed properly. Ron Farrell down on that third baseline. He coaches at St. Ambrose. He's the head coach there, and they play on the same diamond, Ambrose and Assumption. He says, "Why do you want this job?" And it's, "Well, I want to keep an eye on the diamond the whole time."
I got it. That's pretty good. Here comes the pitch, high and outside and away.
So yeah, we'll begin at 10 in the morning. And we'll have class 4A, then 5A, 1A, 2A, 3A. 3A ends at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. So Laura Leonard and I will have the first, third, and fifth games of the day.
Who gets 2 and 4?
And then, I was pausing for the pitch.
There's a ball hit out to center field. It gets down. And advancing to third is Nelson on a hit by Yoder.
So, Brad, Brad Wells and Molly Parrott will have your 4A and your 5A and 2A games. Brad does a lot of games for the University of Northern Iowa Panthers. Molly Parrott out of Iowa State. They also are our basketball announcers as well for classes 2A and 4A.
Gotcha. So coming up to bat will be the right fielder, number 12, Emma Johnson, hitting .370 on the season. We'll see how long Yoder stays at first, and that's not very long.
Now they're going to slap it there and not lay the sacrifice down. I'll tell you, Assumption likes to score early, put the pressure on the opposing team. They did get the lead. It's just they gave up a run. They haven't, you went back all the way to that North Scott game, that interconference game, the last time they gave a run. Assumption's just a flat-out great team. Second last year to Benton Community.
There's your slap to the shortstop. They're going to try to get her at home, and they do. They punch her out at home. So a great play by Chandler gets Leah Nelson. Fielder's choice.
Fielder's choice saves a run, but
yes, it does.
So normally, if you can make 2 errors, if your opponent can make 2 errors on a game, you should be up more than 1 run. But there's been a lot of errors in these early games. Haven't seen as many today. A lot of hits, a lot of runs in those first 2 days, Monday, Tuesday.
Even talking, even to this game prior with Charles City, they had some of the most, just some weird stuff happen. You get all the pass balls, couple errors in the inning, and all of a sudden it was 5-0 before they knew what hit them. Well, and it was tough to recover against a good Ballard team. So
Ballard just likes to apply that pressure, and I think my favorite play was the interference at third when Skylar Rigby's coming around third, just runs over the third baseman, who was in her way.
Yep.
But then Rigby comes to home, and she
gets planted. she got planted onto her butt side, her back side. And Rigby being a catcher, she don't mind the contact. But so this is going to bring you back up to the top of the order. Wait a minute, who? Oh, 36 is now hitting. Is this first?
So that's Anna Wohlers.
Yeah, Wohlers is coming up to bat. Is she pinch hitting right here at the top for the top of the lineup? So Walters grounds.
Interesting move there.
I'm kind of surprised by that. I guess that was interesting.
Well, but in that game with Winterset, they pinch hit, and look what it did for them.
Oh yeah, but how about that moment from now on? That young lady's going to have something to talk about, hitting the single back up the middle.
Yeah, she is their backup pitcher, and you never know in the state tournament what's going to happen if you're going to have to pitch.
Well, it's a good way to get her in the game that way. At least the whole mindset of it into
absolutely.
The game. So this is Olivia Wardlow hitting, second baseman number 2, batting .431.
And that is.
There's a ground ball to first base. She did not get it. And that's going to score Yoder from third. It's going to move Johnson up.
What's the old adage? Put it in play and anything can happen.
Yeah, and it did.
So Hannah Kelly, she's the other pitcher. She came in the other night in Assumption's first round quarterfinal game and closed out the game for Timmons, who had a no-hitter into the 6th.
Wow. Well, this team just they put pressure constant. Wardlow stolen base there. 0-1 the count here to Hannah Kelly.
And you guys had talked about 42 straight. The only loss is to Moline. That's across the river from Davenport there. And Moline's a traditional power on the Illinois side, but Moline, I think, lost in their regional final.
So ball popped up to the second baseman, Brick, to end the inning, but not before the damage is done. 2 runs come across for Assumption. Oh, it was just one? Oh, no, I'm sorry, 1 run. No, she did, yeah, because Nelson did not score. She was thrown out at home, so 1 run. And we get 2 hits, 1 error, and 1 left on. So 2-1 your score here as we move to the bottom of the second inning. So you've been up all week.
I was up Monday, Tuesday, went home Tuesday night, came back this morning, be back here tomorrow. And, yeah, so I'm really paying attention to 1A, 3A, 4A, but every once in a while you kind of look over at 5A and see what's going on. I haven't really paid at all to Class 2A, so can't really help you out on that one. But you guys aren't doing those games anyway.
Well, we've got
You've got the same games I do.
Yeah, we've got the finish of the second half of the 3A game here in the semifinals, and then we're going to jump down to Class 1A, and we're going to cover Sigourney and Clarksville.
So you want to talk young teams. Clarksville probably is the youngest team here. Freshman pitcher, her sister is the head coach. Her other sister is the first base coach.
Well, and the interesting part is they played my high school.
Oh, they did?
That first round with Belle Plaine.
And
Belle Plaine jumped on them early. It was 5-0 there. And then all of a sudden, Clarksville just battled back. But it's been a youth movement here, Paul.
Yeah.
Zach and I talked about that last night and the day before. We're looking at this. There's freshmen in 8th grades all over the place playing key roles in a school like Davenport Assumption. That's impressive.
Well, when you're playing youth softball as much as you are now, and you have these teams that have played in real pressure positions, state tournament's nothing for them.
Yeah, no, it's old adage. So leading off here, the designated player, Reagan Shute. And she's quickly down 0-2 here as Timmons back on the hill here for Davenport Assumption. Yeah, I think we have a freshman or something at third base right now. Kelly is or Salmon. Salmon is just a tremendous little player. So there we go. I think it's 27, isn't it? Yeah, it is Kelly at third base. Sorry about that.
Well, I was just looking in center field, make sure Sophie Van Severin's back out there, and she is. So that was just a pinch hit, not a replacer.
So that's going to be Alyssa Wade, your third baseman, stepping in for Center Point-Urbana. Down 2-1 here, out hit, but it's that third number that's going to get you in most of these type of games with 3 errors so far here in the game.
I've seen some 5-error games this week. I also saw 18 runs from Key High. You won't get to see Key High. They'll play Westwood tonight on the other diamond on the other stream.
I've been looking at their sheet. They are pretty solid, though.
9 runs in the top of the 7th on the strikeout here.
And a strikeout from Timmons to Wade. 2 outs here in the inning for Center Point-Urbana. It's going to bring up your first baseman, number 23, Megan Krogan. Krogan hitting .320 on the season for Center Point-Urbana.
Yeah, Sigourney and Clarksville, that'll be Sigourney knocks out number 2, Akron Westfield. Akron Westfield and Key played in the state championship game last year. And that's a traditional power that Sigourney came in. Now, Sigourney, another family movement. Mother of the pitcher is at third, and grandpa of the pitcher is at first.
Sigourney's got a tie to an athletic director that moved over here and is actually coaching at Webster City, Bob Howard.
Bob Howard actually came and talked to the Sigourney team before their game earlier this week because of that connection.
I can just say it goes back a way, but I remember playing against him in that offense. So when I see it, I just kind of go, yeah, I remember. That was when I was in high school at Belle Plaine, so that takes you back a ways. But that guy's been doing it for a long time. Good guy. He's a good guy.
So did you wear helmets or face masks at that time?
We just threw dirt on the face and went. We didn't care. No, we actually wore helmets, thank you. Yeah.
So what happened? Did they not have one your size, or?
Oh yeah, I got hit a few times. I can remember my helmet getting turned sideways, looking out the hole. So.
Well, I'll let you go. Thank you so much for the
sir.
invite. Good, nice to cool off a little bit. You guys have a good rest of the afternoon.
Thank you, Paul. Sitting in, Paul Yeager, Iowa Public Television, and folks, so you got to listen in till tomorrow as Iowa Public Television does take over, and they will call all 5 games. But it's always good. I enjoy sitting and talking to him. I usually don't get to get on the mic with him because he's got to have that early game for basketball every game. Yeah, I gotcha. Thank you, Paul Yeager, Iowa Public Television. I always enjoy talking to him.
Man.
But 1, 2, 3 inning there for Davenport Assumption.
Don't they do
strikeouts.
such a great job with championship week? I mean,
they do.
Basketball, softball, you name it where they're at. They do such a great job.
And,
Iowa Public Television.
And we're fortunate, CISN, we get Paul usually, especially at state basketball. We get him. He always calls the 10 o'clock game, and I wasn't trying to be a joke about it. He always gets that 10 o'clock game, loves to get us started right. It's an enjoy
outstanding.
to.
It's outstanding work.
Yep, you betcha. So
how about a strike out of the side though there from Timmons? That's a solid.
That's a good
inning.
work, especially after you give up the run. You come back, you go fire, fire, fire. You get it out of the inning. So yeah, that is. So leading off will be number 13, the catcher, Villananis. Emma Villananis, 427. Had the E5 here on the her first at bat. Here comes the pitch to her. Outside for ball one. 1-0 the count now. 1-1 score here. 2-1. Sorry, 2-1 in favor of Davenport Assumption.
It's just weird to. I mean, they just said they haven't given up a run in so long. It's just something. But this offense is so capable too.
Outside
of
2-0,
adding to their lead. I think that's something they're going to look forward to doing here. That just keep it rolling with their offense.
You punch all the numbers in, but eventually that's going to break that. You're going to score runs against this team eventually. But the more impressive is the fact that they've won so many games in a row, and they technically have not lost to an Iowa team because Moline is who beat them.
Right, Moline out of Illinois, and Paul talked about how good they've been.
A juggernaut, yes.
But when that's what just Davenport Assumption does. They schedule well, and then when they get to this point, they are ready to go. And then that's just a credit to what they do, and they do it the right way. And there's that ground ball to short, and Chandler makes the play. So
exactly.
But it's just a credit to their scheduling. I mean, if you can schedule where they're at and schedule the teams, and then you can really build yourself up early in the year, you're ready to roll by the time July hits.
By the time you get here. So a ground out, 6-3, Chandler to Krogan, out number one. So Smith fires, and it's ball one here. So Smith doing her part to try to keep CPU around.
Well,
as they get to the latter innings.
I mean, she's honestly been spectacular. It doesn't look like it because she's given it. They're both unearned runs.
Yep.
And you take away some of those mistakes, and this is a very different game.
So 2-0 the count here on Salmon. Ball hit down the third base line. Tried to get squeezed up by Coach Farrell, not able to.
And Salmon was a strikeout victim her first time up. Was caught looking in the first. That was part of a 6-batter first and then a 6-batter second inning for Davenport Assumption as well. So they've been consistent there, but they've also taken advantage a little bit of some of those mistakes. You talk about the 3 errors. It's one thing to make the errors. It's one thing to make those errors and have runs score because of it. And that's one thing we saw from Ballard in that you guys talked about it in that 4A game. It's one thing for teams to make the errors, but if you can make them pay, that's what counts, and that's what wins you games.
And a good team like Assumption probably doesn't. If you can avoid the help, they're going to score anyway. That's just the offensive team
right,
that
and that's
they are.
What's hurting Center Point-Urbana. You want to make them earn every run they get. So far, 2 of the runs, both unearned.
So a full count here to Salmon. The pitch, a ground ball to third base. Wade fires across the diamond to Krogan. In time, 5-3 on the putout, 2 down here in the inning. And that's going to bring up Wislander. Flew out to right field her first time up. Hitting .495 on the season. And if you're a pitcher and you're stepping in against this team and you start running down ends .424 and .417 and 20, and you see a .375, a .370, a .364, those 3 averages usually are your really good hit. And those are the 3 lowest on this team.
I think
that is an impressive thing.
I think if you're Center Point-Urbana, especially if you're the pitching staff of the Storm and Pointers, you cannot let yourself look at any numbers in this game. You got to let your coaches look at the numbers and tell you this is how you should pitch this person, this is how you should pitch. If you get yourself looking at numbers against a team like this, that could change your mentality because you might think, oh, man, how do I get this person out? How do I get this person? I think you just have to go out and blindly say, all right, I'm just going to go pitch, and we'll see what happens from there. I think you have to let the coaches handle, okay, here's what their numbers are. Here's how we should attack these certain individuals.
And I'm telling you, but those stats are they're mind-boggling.
Well, they jump off the page at you. Yeah.
To get yourself to be able to wrap around.
But they're almost expected when you look at the record. When you
Yes.
see somebody that's 42-1 and they've won 42 straight, I mean, if their numbers weren't very good, that wouldn't make any sense.
And on a 1-2 count, Wislander with a single up the middle.
See, I think that's one of the hardest hit balls we've seen in this game from Davenport Assumption. They're not killing the ball. They're not smoking it. But that's definitely the first hit of the inning so far for Davenport Assumption, and now a pinch runner.
Yeah, number 20, Katie Anderson, is now pinch running for Wislander. And that's going to bring up Leah Nelson, your left fielder. 459 on the season. And we'll see what she can do here. Yeah, she got a single her first at bat.
Yeah, she's an outstanding center fielder / left fielder. She's played in both spots this year.
So that, yeah, she's a smooth little player, this left fielder.
And her RBI count's not high, but she gets on base and she draws walks. I mean, she's kind of like another leadoff down at the bottom of your lineup.
And there's a drive to left center. It gets to the fence, and we're going to see if Anderson can score. She does. And now you're going to get a double with an E6.
Well, talk about not a high RBI count. Well, that's her 8th RBI now of the season.
But
well struck off of her bat. That thing jumped off and rolled to the wall.
The bigger one was the E6, though, that moved her to 3rd on the throw from Chandler trying to get Anderson at home. But I tell you what, Anderson came flying around those bases. As she hit second base, she was motoring.
That's exactly why they put her in that spot, because if you do hit something to the gap, then you can try to get that run to score, and that's exactly what happened. Outstanding work.
It's going to bring up
from Davenport Assumption.
Going to bring up number 35, the shortstop, Nicole Yoder. Singled her first time up as well. Takes the first pitch in there, called strike.
Came around to score in that second inning. Was the lone run in that second frame. And it's been one run in each inning so far for Davenport Assumption. This one, finally, they've earned it.
And the interesting part is, as you're looking they score a run each inning, but this is all with 2 outs, and you're going to have a delayed steal and a run as they're not able to get her at home.
Just your typical steal of home, right?
Oh, you always see that at least.
The Jets stole home. The Jets stole home. No.
Wow, now we're getting back there, huh? So that pushes it 4-1.
It's great base running.
And Yoder stepping in with a 1-1 count. Swing to right field, right at Henderson, and she squeezes it up for out number 3.
And now all of a sudden, the Knights start to get some separation, and this is where they start to take over a game.
Yeah. So let's go back. I was just going to talk to you on the keys real quick, because you kind of ride the wave, don't change anything, and you know the formula, and they are doing that formula.
Well, it's working well. I mean, they know exactly what they need to do to be successful, and that's what they do. That inning, 2 runs, 2 more hits, an error again. I mean, that's an error in each inning. It's 4 total errors now for Center Point-Urbana, and then they leave 1 on base. And it all started with 2 outs in that third. So they when they need to earn the runs, or when they need to try to score, they're able to do that as well. You match that with their pitching staff. That's why they're sitting where they are.
Yep. And if you're looking at Center Point, it's a veteran team, but it's, right now, the Davenport Assumption's kind of doing whatever they want to do, and it feels a lot like we were talking about how pressure, the Ballard team puts pressure on you. This has that same feel of that type of pressure, and they're doing a great job of it, forcing everything Center Point-Urbana to do what they need to do. So we're going to move up to the bottom of the third. It'll be Olivia Breck, the leadoff swing and a foul ball out of play. 0-1 the count.
Yeah, and they put so much pressure on you because of their pitching staff. And I think that's why. I mean, their offense is good, but when their offense gives you 2 or 3 runs, all of a sudden you're looking up and you're like, well, we can't score against these guys. So now all the pressure's on our pitching staff to try to keep this at a 3-run game or whatever it might be. And, I mean, Davenport Assumptions, they've had 30 shutouts on the year. So
just numbers you
it's
don't
just hard
see.
Runs are just hard to come by against the squad.
You don't see a lot of numbers that's been this way all year. I mean, their numbers are just fantastic. So
it's a historic pace.
Yes,
that they're on, no doubt about it.
You know, that's something I wish we could ask somebody. Is I wonder what the number of wins is. There's a line drive right back to Timmons.
When it's your day, it's your day.
And that's a great play by her.
Just a nice reaction right there. You know, you just stick the glove out, and sometimes the ball will go in it, and sure enough.
Yeah, you know, a little luck doesn't hurt anybody, does it? First pitch in there, called strike to Claire Chandler. Singled her first time up.
We were talking about Davenport coming to Fort Dodge from Assumption High School. It's, you know, I don't know, somewhere in between the 3.5 and 4 hour trip.
Yes,
it takes them a little bit to get across the state over there from, I mean, it's southeast if you look at it. It's not southeast Iowa necessarily, but from where Fort Dodge is, it's southeast of where they're at. It's down past Iowa City, right there on the river, right there on the Mississippi River, Davenport. And
so 1-2 the count here to Chandler. Yeah,
but they're having fun here in Fort Dodge.
But honestly, though, and we're going to make it at the half inning. I'll talk about the hospitality of Fort Dodge. And Chandler hustles down and beats the infield single.
Good speed for that hit.
We'll just kind of bring it up here. So DMAC, what they do up here for Fort Dodge is they turn their dorms over to all of the softball teams as a hospitality. So if you're, you know, you basically just go back to the dorm. What a great thing for these guys. Come up, get the dorm life, and play softball. Couldn't be much better than that, could it?
Yeah, they do a great job here at Fort Dodge. They always have, and for as long as I can remember, you know, they've done an outstanding job, and we're really fortunate in the state to have all of our host sites for the state tournament. All of them do a really good job when they host for their individual sports, and obviously this is the only state that does this in the summer, and you're going to have days where it's 99 degrees with the heat index,
and yes, and you're going to cringe.
But you know, what tells you how they do such a good job. But yeah, it's 99 degrees and it's real hot and real humid out, and there's still so many people, a great crowd on hand for the semifinal games, and a lot of them are going to be here and have been here all day and all week.
Yep. So in the hitting right now currently is number 24, Caitlin Banning. So you got 1 on and 1 out here, and she's 0-2 on the count here. Timmons is ahead of her as they're trying to figure out how to battle back and get themselves a run somewhere here. So Banning, there's the pitch. There's another foul ball out of play. I'll stay at 0-2 with 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd inning as we're looking at a 4-1 score here in favor of Davenport Assumption. As Timmons hits the chalk and is headed back to the mound. So Banning trying to come across here and see if they can keep this inning going and maybe push a run or two to try to get back in this thing.
But
number 50, Maddie Carr, hitting .448.
6 strikeout for Timmons today. She's been spectacular in the circle.
And she walked her first at bat. Takes first pitch in there low for ball 1.
Yeah, we talked about Carr being that power batter here. She's got a lot of power. She's the run producer for CPU, and had a really good at bat to draw that walk in that first inning.
That pitch in there called strike.
And that was a big walk. It loaded the bases, And then they were able to get Henderson was able to ground out
and
for
get
that
run.
RBI to get Center Point-Urbana on the board.
So 1-1 count here with 2 down here in the bottom of the third. Swing and a ball right back over our heads. So quickly, Carr down 1-2 here to Timmons, as Timmons just trying to lock this inning in and be done with it here. Already enjoying a 4-1 lead here for Davenport Assumption.
And Timmons has walked 50 batters this season, hit 5 more. So, I mean, if there's one thing, then you might have a chance. You might want to see if you can stay patient in the count, work it, and see if you could try to get a walk.
So 2-2. Twos are wild. Deuce is wild here. As our 4A bracket is set for the championship, as we're working on the 3A bracket. Pitch in there low. It'll be a Raccoon River Conference Championship. Winner set Ballard will do battle in the 4A side. Coming up after this one will be Albia and Mount Vernon right here on Diamond 2.
And then Oskaloosa and Charles City, they'll get up early and have
And
breakfast
battle
at the ballpark at a 9:30 third, fourth place consolation game.
A called third strike on Carr will end that inning. We got no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. So as we end to the bottom of the third, we're going to head to the top of the fourth here. And we're taking a look here. I'm trying to see who's. Yeah, we have looks like a new pitcher here for CPU, as it will be number 20, Natalia Cook is now coming on to pitch.
So Natalie Cook, she's 10-4 on the year with a 3.11 ERA and opponent batting average of .239. Struck out 55. She's allowed 103 hits. Not a ton of appearances in the circle, but kind of that nice sort of, backup, I guess, if you will. I mean, she's made, she's pitching just about as many innings as Bailey Smith has, but her record just doesn't quite show it because she's not going to be in for a lot of 4 record games, but she's pitched extremely well for Center Point-Urbana.
Okay, so it'll be Natalie Cook coming in here to pitch here for Center Point-Urbana, and she's going to start with number 9 hitter here, the right fielder, number 12, Emma Johnson, hitting .370, hit into a fielder's choice. Her first, a little slap to the left side, and it finds pay dirt. So a leadoff single by Johnson. That's going to bring up top of the lineup here for Davenport Assumption. It'll be Sophia Van Severen. 1 for 2 on the day so far for this young lady. So Van Severen stepping in. Trying to lay the bunt down. It goes foul. 0-1 the count here on Van Severen.
So Bailey Smith done. 3 innings for her. She allowed 5 hits, 4 runs, 2 earned. Didn't walk any and struck out 2. So
her day is,
her
so far.
Right. I mean, obviously she could come back in, but
yeah, one of the weirdest.
Just didn't get a lot of help from her defense. A couple of big mistakes, actually 4 of them.
And there is a well-placed bunt. And that would be a single, and it'll be second and third.
So that will not be a hit because she was giving herself up for the sacrifice. So she still gets the sacrifice.
Sack gets her on second on the air.
So it's still the sacrifice, and then E5.
Johnson moves to
allow runners at second and third.
That's a tough one.
If you're scoring at home.
So now Center Point-Urbana, nobody out in the inning as they are trying to figure out how they're going to minimize some damage here. And Olivia Wardlow stepping in, the second baseman. So Wardlow has reached twice. And there's a swing as Chandler camps underneath it for out number 1. And you'll take 2 more of those if you're Center Point-Urbana quickly.
That's a challenge. I mean, this is a good offense, and that's a big out to get this thing started. They need, you know, if you're Davenport Assumption, you're looking for ground ball right side. You're looking for fly balls or strikeouts. If it's a fly ball, you want it to be something like that where it's in the infield or shallow in the outfield. But the infield's going to be in here for Center Point-Urbana.
So the first pitch to Hannah Kelly is outside for ball 1. The third baseman hitting .417. 0 for 1 here on the day so far. Oop,
I think she's
0
for 2.
0 for 2. There's a swing, fall ball out of play. Quickly, if you're Cook, you got to get your feet wet pretty quickly here. Assumption is already putting pressure back on you guys with a 1-1 count, 1 out. Let's see if she's able to battle through here. The junior fires. Swing to center field. That's going to probably score a run as Banning squeezes it up. And it will score a run. Fly, second out. Scores Johnson.
So it goes down as a fly out to center and a sacrifice fly, which is not an official at bat, but it is an RBI.
Yep. So ribby for Hannah Kelly. That's going to bring up Emma Valinas with 2 downs, 2 outs here in the inning. The pitch. Big swing and a miss. 0-1 the count here. So Valinas. In just outside, just missed the corner, 1-1. Ground out to the shortstop her last time up. Takes that one in there, called strike, 1-2. 2 outs here in the inning, 1 in for Davenport Assumption.
Yeah, she reached in the first on an error. Didn't come around to score, however. Ended up getting a stolen base and was stranded at second.
Ground ball to third base. Fires across for out number 3. So 5-3 on the put out. That's the 3rd out of the inning. But 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 left on base for Davenport Assumption. But they put another run in, and it's now a 5-1 lead as Timmons heads back to the mound here for Davenport Assumption. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back here to head off to the bottom of the 4th.
At Mid-American Energy, part of putting power in your hands is helping to keep families safe. That's why Mid-American provides free educational safety programs to schools, asks you to call 811 before you dig, have annual furnace inspections, and be aware of hazards at home. Mid-American Energy safely delivers electricity and natural gas to us in good times and stormy ones. That's Mid-American Energy.
And then we'll jump back on and finish. Welcome back to the Mid-American Energy Iowa High School Girls Sports Network. Brian Carlisle alongside Zach Carlisle as we go to the bottom half of the 4th bottom half of the 4th inning here. Center Point-Urbana in a hole, down 5-1, as Davenport Assumption's got 6 hits and 5 runs. But the bigger number for CPU right now that's been kind of tough for them is they've got 1 run, 3 hits, but the 5 errors up on the board has really been tough to overcome. Already playing the number 1 team in the state that has a huge, I mean, they've just a very solid team, but you're giving them more runs than they and it's not helping you any.
Well, I don't know how you win any game when you give up, when you make 5 errors defensively, and it's just too much to overcome for your offense, especially against a great pitching staff and a great pitcher.
You bet.
That Davenport Assumption has.
So in the stepping in to hit here is Taylor Henderson, your right fielder, number 52. 1-0 the count to her. There's a swing and a foul ball out of play. So Henderson stepping in, 1-1 the count on her. Swing, that ball is high for ball 2. 2-1 the count now on Henderson. There's another one fouled out of play. So 2-2 now your count on Henderson.
She had the RBI ground out in the first that tied this game up at 1, but
that's about all the sled.
1 run in the second, 2 in the third, another in the fourth for Davenport Assumption.
That pitch is high as well. 3-2. Full count here on Henderson. Hitting .405 on the season is the young lady. And if you're CPU, you want to just start scratching runners on. You need base runners. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a foul ball. Straight back here just to the right of us. So it'll stay at 3-2. Bottom half of your fourth inning here. 5-1 in favor of Assumption if you're just tuning in. 5 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Knights. The pitch, swing, another foul ball. 1 run, 3 hits, 5 errors.
I got to give Center Point-Urbana a ton of credit. Their at-bats have been quality at-bats this entire game. Obviously just the 1 run to show for it, but the 1 run should be good. Or it should be enough to keep them in the game, but instead it's 5-1 just because of the mistakes they've made defensively.
The pitch, swinging him.
Got a piece.
Got a piece. I wasn't told. I wanted to make sure she did get a piece of it to stay alive. So still full count here. Got to find a way to get yourself on base here. And the pitch. And a swing and a miss. Strikeout for out number 1 here in the bottom half of your fourth inning. That's going to bring up your catcher, number 40, Claire Holtz. 393 on the season. Strikeout victim her first time up.
So that's 8 strikeouts now for Timmons, and that is 6 strikeouts in the last 8 batters.
She's in a groove. Throwing very well here. That pitch is in there called strike. Yes, since striking out Holtz in the first, she went 4 straight, Zach. 4 straight strikeouts there. Yeah, pretty impressive.
Struck out the whole bottom of that order and has struck out 7 of the last 9 that she has faced. The only batters she has not struck out today are the top 2 in the CPU lineup.
Breck and Chandler. So Holtz stepping in here. 2-1 the count. Now 3-1 as she's worked it to a hitter's favor here. She should see something pretty good to hit if she decides to cut it loose. And the pitch from Timmons coming. Swing and a foul ball.
Another battle, though. I mean, they are battling each and every at-bat. It just always hasn't always worked out the best. But
so full count here on Holtz. No, yeah, just haven't had that anything go in your favor. The pitch, little spinner, if you will, and it Wardlow to Wislander for out number 2. So 4-3 on the put out. Boy, that ball had some serious spin on it.
Tough play. Kind of that slow roller, and it took a weird hop kind of to the right. But nice job, a nice concentration by Wardlow to continue to make a nice play, and another nice play defensively by Davenport Assumption.
So Reagan Shutt stepping in, the designated player. 2 down here in the inning. There's a swing. There's a foul ball straight back. 0-1 the count here to this young lady. 5-1 your score. Davenport Assumption is ahead.
And Timmons has done a nice job of battling herself, you know, to continue to get outs, to continue to make the right pitch in big situations.
Swing and a miss right there will make it 0-2 here in the bottom half of your 4th. 2 down in the inning as Timmons is looking to put it by her and does a strikeout for the 3rd out of the inning. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back here in just a minute as we get ready to go to the top half of your 5th inning. Davenport Assumption up 5-1.
Why do I look for the seal? It's about trust. Whether I'm buying a car, hiring a contractor, finding a tax preparer, or an honest mechanic, the Better Business Bureau's seal means this business meets high standards. When I see the seal, I know I'll get what I pay for. No more taking chances and no more worries. And I feel good about supporting local businesses. My life is so much easier knowing I can always trust BBB accredited businesses. It pays to look for the seal. See for yourself at bbb.org/Iowa. Why do I look for the seal?
Work, play, and everything in between. Stay cool with Carhartt from G&L Clothing. High-performance jackets, tees, and shorts. Whatever you do, you'll be more comfortable in Carhartt. Find it all at the Carhartt store inside G&L Clothing.
G&L Clothing. Your size, your style, we've got it all.
Work, play, and everything.
In the Class 3A state semifinals, alongside Zach Carlisle, we will take you through 5-1 our score as we play in the top of the 5th inning. Center Point-Urbana back out on the field. Assumption looking for more, and Zach, boy, impressive performance so far out of this Assumption squad.
Yeah, they have taken advantage of some mistakes that have been made by CPU thus far, and their offense has capitalized. Pitching's been expected to be good, and it's lived up to par.
First pitch swinging, that one foul from the bat of Salmon, the designated player. 0 for 2 for Salmon, a .375 batting average coming into state tournament play. 0 for 2 with the strikeout, looking and a ground out. Her first 2 times up, looking to change the course of her afternoon as Assumption leads 5-1. A 42-game winning streak for Assumption. Outstanding story. Have not lost a game all year long to anybody here from the state of Iowa. And looking to move on to the championship. Here's a shot over to third base and into left field. Tough play for the third baseman. Not sure if there's much you could do over there if you're Kelly.
Oh, what a hop. What a wicked hop that took. That just hops over her left shoulder. No chance there. And a leadoff single once again. You get that leadoff batter aboard. Good things can happen for you in the inning.
And it'll be coming up next for the Knights, number 29. That is Hannah Winslander, the junior first baseman. .495 batting average coming into tournament play. 5 homers, 30 RBI. You look up and down this lineup, boy, they got pop. They got kind of everything you look for in an outstanding team at the 3A level.
Yeah, I think what's most impressive is that they can beat you any way. They can bunt for a hit if they needed to. They can draw the walk, or they can just flat out put some softballs in the gaps and beat you with the long ball as well. So their offense is so versatile and so dynamic. It's a lot of fun to watch them play.
Salmon looking over at first base, getting instruction from the third base coach and head coach Ron Farrell. And the pitch, bunt attempt, that's going to be foul, though. Good hop back behind the plate, grabbing that in foul ground by Taylor Henderson. And we'll try it again, now 0-1. Looking to get down the sacrifice, Wislander. First baseman on the year, just one sacrifice.
Well, we've seen the inability, if you will, today to get the bunts down, whether it's the bunt's been getting up in the air or they just keep bunting them foul.
There's a slash as it's slapped out to center field. Few steps in, still running, coming in and making the play in center field, Van Severen, and out number 1 defensively for Center Point-Urbana.
That play looked a little bit more routine than I think it actually was, coming in first and then, or that initial step back. That's the way you want to do it, though, the initial step back. And if you have to come in, use your speed, and a nice play for that first out.
Well, here's Leah Nelson. She's 2 for 2, looking for her third hit, single, double, and a shot back up the middle for that third hit of the game. Sharply hit, throw into the infield, cut down. 2 on with 1 out. Assumption looking for more here in the 5th.
Oh, I love that approach by Nelson. Just first pitch, you know you're getting a fastball, and if it's anywhere near the plate, you're gonna swing at it and see if you can do something with it. And that was a rocket right back up the middle. Good piece of hitting by Nelson. That's her third hit of the game. She's 3 for 3.
Shortstop to the plate, the sophomore Nicole Yoder. Yoder singled, scored back in the 2nd inning, and then flew out to end the 3rd as she digs in. First pitch misses off the plate, 1-0. Runners at 1st and 2nd, 1 out. 5-1 lead for Davenport Assumption over Center Point-Urbana in the top of the 5th inning. Here's the 1-0 inside. Now 2-0 and a hitter's count. You got to figure Yoder here. She's looking dead red.
That's exactly right. And if she can do something with it, she will, because I don't think this would be a sacrifice situation at all for Davenport Assumption. So you're going to look to swing the bat here and do something with it.
There's a pitch. That one missed off the plate, and now 3-0. We'll see. Green light. Haven't seen many green lights on 3-0. Haven't been many 3-0 counts at all today.
Right,
as is.
The pitching's been so good, you rarely get the 3-0 count. I'd be surprised if they swing the bat here.
There's the pitch and a get-me-over strike. Called strike, 3-1. And now back to that hitter's count again.
Iowa
down.
City Regina's going to play for a state championship tomorrow, beating Durant 2-1.
Big upset over there as Durant had knocked off Regina both times in the regular season. Here's a shot into right field. That's going to drop in for a base hit. Here comes the runner in from second base. She'll score standing up on the throw. Yoder makes her way into second. An RBI single. She goes to second on the throw. Second hit of the game for Yoder. Assumption just keeps coming at you.
Oh man, they don't stop. They just keep pushing that pedal down. And that is another base. So that's the 3rd single in this inning off of Natalie Cook. And Cook was real solid in that. Well, let's see. Well, it was the 1 run in the 4th inning as well, and now struggling with a run here in this 5th inning, but it's just the consecutive singles, and it's just they keep turning the lineup over, and they keep sending it and handing it off to the next one. That is just so tough to overcome.
Now time's going to be called, and conversation's going to be had out there in the mound, trying to stop the bleeding for Center Point-Urbana, as Don Venorni is going to come out, talk with this team in his first year, making the state tournament here in the state semifinals for the Stormin Pointers. Proud history of certainly success at a lot of different levels. This year, an excellent year. Made a run in the state tournament in soccer, semifinals in basketball, here in the semifinals in softball. So, you know, a lot of success over there from Eastern Iowa and Center Point-Urbana.
Boy, it's remarkable what they've done the last probably 3 or 4 years in all these different sports. They're fun to watch, and they're well coached. And then they bring in, you know, brand new coach this year, and I tell you, Dan Venorni's done just a fantastic job taking in this program, and they just keep on winning. They plug it in, and it's not going so well for them right now, but they're also running into a historic juggernaut in Davenport Assumption.
At the plate now, number 37, Olivia Allen, the junior. 280 batting average, and the first pitch misses 1-0. You talk about historic, though. That is Davenport Assumption this year. Unbelievable. 42 straight wins as we play here today. As a pitch popped over on the left side, going to be a long run over in the coaching box. Making the play, putting a squeeze to it, is the third baseman Kelly. And there's 2 outs and a chance now to escape here. If they can just get out of here, giving up the single run, I think a sense of relief for Center Point-Urbana.
A little bit, yeah. You could probably take a deep breath after this inning, even though they're still going to be in a really tough spot. But you're right. It absolutely could be a lot worse for these Storm and Pointers.
And we flip the order up to the top as the leadoff hitter, Van Severen, flips one to right field, put away out there by Johnson, and the side is retired. Another run across for Davenport Assumption as they put 1 run on the board on 3 hits. There were 2 runners left on. 4.5 complete in the Class 3A state semifinals. We come back with more here after the timeout on the Mid-American Energy Iowa High School Girls Sports Network.
Repeat and referral and word of mouth. That's the main ways we receive our customers now, and after being here 10 years, that has just exploded for us. And that's a big area of our business because people like the way they were treated. The customer experience we can provide is second to none, and we're committed to it. And I'm here to make sure that gets done.
Schottenkirk Chevy on the west end of Hickman, Waukee, WaukeeChevy.com.
Repeat and referral.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
Trent Condon and Zach Carlisle back with you in the press box here above field number 2. Davenport Assumption, Center Point-Urbana. We go to the home half of the 5th inning, and your score: Assumption 6, Center Point-Urbana 1. Storm and Pointers were in the black bottoms and the black camo tops. First pitch swinging out to right field, but right there making the play in right field for the putout is right fielder Emma Johnson. Well, that kind of game, huh, Zach?
It just has been. I mean, even the good swings are producing outs right now, and it's tough to, get over that hump, if you will, for Center Point. They put that run up in the first, and they've had a tough time going here ever since.
Up in the plate, first pitch swinging for the Storm and Pointers, Megan Krogan, a senior. Group of seniors here that kind of built this program together, culminating with this semifinal appearance. And they're not going to quit. They're going to keep fighting. Count evens at 1-1. Comes in 24 knocked in, a .320 batting average. Storm and Pointers 30-10 on the year. This one popped over on the left side, run back behind the third base bag, and put away is the third baseman, Wade. And there's just like that, quickly 2 outs.
Yeah, but I think this team's going to be back again. I mean, this is their 3rd trip to Fort Dodge in the last 4 years for the state tournament here at softball. I think their nucleus is good enough, and they've got some young talent coming again. I think this team's going to be back and wanting more as they continue to go on.
Top of the lineup, Olivia Brecht, a junior. Does a little bit of everything at the top of the lineup for the Storming Pointers. .415 batting average, 5 homers, 36 RBI, 18 stolen bases coming into play. OPS over 1,000 on the year. Huge offensive numbers for Olivia Brecht. Swung on and missed, strike 2. She finds herself down in the count, 0-2. Gonna take a little walk over. Catch your breath.
She's had some really nice at-bats today. I mean, it doesn't actually show for her with 0 for 1 with a walk, but the walk was a great at-bat, and then the line out to the pitcher was just unfortunate. It was just a reaction play by Timmons. She was able to make that catch, but she has put together 2 really quality plate appearances here today.
Well, a difficult pitch to lay off there. She was just missed as Breck sees. And 2s across the Center Point-Urbana. Down by 5 errors, though, defensively. Pointer team this afternoon.
Yeah, that really spells doom for you, no doubt. 2 of those 6 unearned runs. And Davenport Assumption's still been hitting the ball, but if it was a different start, you never know how this game might have turned out.
Timmons ready with the 3-2, straight back off the bat. We'll try it again. Well, the 1-2 punch that Davenport Assumption can put out there on the bump. You don't see many teams, and you look at the success that they've had. We talked about the 42 straight wins. Well, you got two pitchers that can go like that. You're going to win a lot of games.
The fact that one of their pitchers has an ERA of less than .5, well, they've got two of them less than .5, and their team ERA is under that as well. It's been a special year for these Knights.
And another strikeout there to end the CPU fifth inning. We've got 5 completed here. 6-1 the score. Well, this is the time where you kind of look through here and you got to figure out what you're going to do. You know, what buttons you can push. When you're going up against a juggernaut like Assumption, though, I don't think there's much you can do. As a coach, you just got to hope you get some breaks, you get some hits, if a couple things kind of fall in for you.
And the problem is they don't make any mistakes to hurt themselves either. That's what's impressive. And so CPU is going to have to try to, first of all, get a base runner. Good luck to you. And then it's going to have to be just kind of scratch and claw and try to find ways to move them over. But I think if you're this CPU team, I think you just want to enjoy everything you can these last couple of innings. I mean, they've had a remarkable year, and they don't want to end on necessarily a down note. They just want to have some fun and enjoy themselves and send these seniors off on a positive note to end 2017.
Well, you mentioned the seniors, and another one taking the pitching circle right now. It'll be Bailey Smith, making her 6th appearance of the year out of the bullpen, a 12-4 record, 94 2/3 innings pitched, a 2.14 ERA. She struck out 69 and has walked 16. So another look here, CPU, another opportunity for a senior in the state semifinals. CPU, if even with the loss, they will be playing for 3rd tomorrow in Class 3A. 6-1, they trail it right now. And up on the plate for Assumption, it'll be Olivia Wardlow, the second baseman for the Knights. Here's a ground ball over towards the shortstop. Quick throw across the diamond. Good hop over there from the shortstop to make the easy play for out number 1.
And so Smith comes in for the second time today. She did start the game for Center Point-Urbana and tossed 3 innings, a 5-hit, 4-run ball. 2 of those runs earned, struck out a couple, and so comes back in to close out her career with the Stormin' Pointers.
Good play defensively from Chandler at shortstop as a pitch misses off the plate, 1-0. Bailey Smith started things off in those 3 innings that she pitched. Gave up 5 hits, 4 runs, just 2 of them earned, and struck out 2. Now, do you think there's ever been a time as a ball shot into center field for a sharp single off the bat of number 27, Hannah Kelly, with a re-entry rule that a pitcher has picked up both a win and a save in the same game?
Yeah, I don't know how that works, to be honest with you. I think that's I'm still getting on board with that re-entry rule, to be honest with you, but you see it a ton.
Yep.
And it really can make a manager or a coach's life a little bit easier when you can re-enter, and not just in the circle, but in the field, on the base pass. You can do all kinds of things with the re-enter rule.
Well, now that I'm starting to figure out the flex rule a little bit better after the last couple of years here, calling the games here at state softball makes a lot of sense, and another opportunity for a kid to see action. And that's really the best thing about it.
No doubt about it. Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Get away from the nature of the designated hitter and just the unflexible part of that. And this flex player adds another dimension to the game, and most importantly, like I said, a chance for another player to get in there, see playing time both as a hitter and a defender.
And if your pitcher can hit, you can put the pitcher in the lineup. You can have a DP for somebody else there as well, and that creates a lot of choices for your team.
Throw down to second out in time, stolen base for Hannah Kelly. She puts herself into scoring position with the straight steal. And Emma Valanis at the plate. Well, it's been tough luck for her. 0 for 3, reached on an error. The University of Northern Iowa softball commit came in batting .427. Going to change her afternoon at the plate. Up 6-1 with her Assumption squad. Fouls this one to the right side. And the count goes to 2-2. Cleanup hitter for Davenport Assumption. The Knights, the top-ranked team in Class 3A. Another impressive part is they play in a conference that has a lot of 4A and 5A schools on top of it.
Their schedule is insane, and what they play out there in eastern Iowa is remarkable. But, you know, when they get here, they're ready, and they can handle the competition, and they're showing it right now. Their postseason's been pretty dominant.
6-1 the lead here. They got to the state tournament with 3 consecutive shutouts, a 9-0 win over Northeast. West Liberty 10-0. Has another foul ball over on the right side. For Center Point-Urbana, they got to the state tournament with wins over Olwine 22-0, New Hampton 10-5, and 6-5 over Cresco. So they went through the gauntlet of the Northeast Iowa Conference.
Right. Yeah, it was pretty much them and the rest of the pack kind of down below this year up there in Northeast Iowa. They were really dominant up there.
Here's the 2-2. Just missed up in the zone. Count goes full 3-2.
And I think that was kind of a question coming into the state tournament with this Center Point team. Well, all right, now you're going to face some teams. How are you going to do? And I think they've lived up to the bill. They've played really well. If it wasn't for, you know, some of the mistakes they've made defensively today, this could be a very different game with one of the most dominant teams we've seen in a long time.
And just misses, so Valanis will make her way to first base on for the second time, this time via the walk. Kelly remains at second base. And Carly Salmon, the designated player, due up in this spot. Salmon 1 for 3 so far, singled her last time up, came around to score. What was the 6th run of the ball game for Davenport Assumption as they lead it right now, 6-1.
And it just, I mean, they're not doing anything special in this inning. They're just having quality at bats, and all of a sudden you look up, it's 2 on with 1 out, and you're in a jam again. That's what this offense does to you.
Here's the pitch from Smith just off the plate, 1-0. 6 runs, 10 hits, no errors for Davenport Assumption. 1, 3, and 5 across the board for Center Point-Urbana. Top of the 6th inning, 1 away with 2 on. The Smith pitch, fouled back, and the count evens at 1-1.
So the winner, that's they're in that championship game late tomorrow night. They're actually the final championship game of the day, I believe. Tomorrow, they'll take on either Albia or Mount Vernon. That one's next on the docket. Should be a lot of fun too.
Yeah, the 6th seed against the 7th seed in that one. As this pitch skips away from the catcher as it bounced in front of the plate, gets away, and on the wild pitch, both runners will advance up. Kelly to third.
Yeah, who would have thought in Class 3A you'd get 1, 5, 6, and 7 in your semifinals?
Well, Albia and Mount Vernon pulled upsets. You mentioned, people wondering about schedule. I know that was a question about Boyd and Hole Rock Valley coming in, 32-2 record coming into play, but the competition, it's not the competition, more so just not a whole lot of 3A teams up in that corner of the state, and saw a lot of smaller 1A and 2A schools throughout the course of their schedule. And that's another part, and as they have the 5 different classes that we see across the board now for most sports in the girls' union. It's something you see a lot. There's pockets of the state that doesn't have certain amount of teams for that level, and it can either inflate or, on the other side, deflate a record.
That's exactly right.
And
or
they make a run to the state tournament.
Or there's a team that plays a lot of 4A and 5A, and then they come down here in the 3A state tournament like Davenport Assumption. Just because of where they're at, they can play a ton of those bigger schools, and it's shown.
There's Salmon punching it out to the right side. That'll reach over the fence out of play. And so the count still remains 3-2. Making Bailey Smith work out there. Smith, the senior right-hander. And ball comes back into play. Catcher Claire Holtz grabs it, hands it back to the ump, and we're back ready for play in the top of the 6th inning. Assumption 6-1. Rocket fire, Bailey Smith. Shot into left field on a line. That's going to get over the head of the left fielder, and that'll score 2 runs. A stand-up double off the bat of Salmon. And she continues back-to-back innings with the hit. Stands at second, a couple of RBIs to go along with it. It's 8-1. Davenport Assumption.
Well, I know Carr is upset with herself out there in left field, but even if she takes the right angle, no chance to make that play. That was a rocket, a one-hopper to the fence out there in left. Just no chance to make that play. And Davenport Assumption, here they come again. They are an efficient offense.
Back to the plate, Hannah Wislander, the junior. 8-1 the score. Runner at second base, and possibility of maybe some changes here from Ron Farrell. So he's going over and talking some things over with the home plate umpire. See if he's going to see maybe a little more playing time with some of the reserves. Maybe a runner happening. Wislander, the first baseman. Salmon, the DP over there. Going to get a runner maybe? I'm just taking a guess.
I'm not seeing anything happen yet.
Here we come. Looks like going out. And perhaps going to warm up a pitcher, it looks like. Taking a little bit of time to get them ready. Down over along the first baseline. 8-1 Assumption. Still just one out in the top of the sixth inning. Knights looking for more. Pitch outside.
So the inning started with that ground out, but then single, walk, and double. That's what they do to you. They come at you, and all of a sudden you don't know what hits you. And all of a sudden you look up, there's two more runs.
There's another shot out to the gap in right center field. That's going to put another run on the board. A long single off the bat of Wislander. Her second hit of the afternoon. She's 2 for 4. And an RBI across. It is now 9-1 Assumption. And the route is on here. You know, CPU was able to at least keep it close for a while, but you can just see that this Assumption team just keeps coming at you, Zach.
Yeah, that's no doubt about it. When they had those errors, they were somewhat getting away with it in the first couple innings. All of a sudden, no way. Davenport Assumption will put you away because they're that good, and their pitching staff's that good too. And so it just feels like, when CPU's out there defensively, they're constantly under pressure because they know we're going to struggle to score some runs ourselves, and that's just what it's been today. And now here comes the red hot Leah Nelson.
3 for 3 this afternoon. Pitch misses inside, 1-1. 3 state hits, and Nelson came into the state tournament 459, bettering that average. Difficult to do to raise that batting average when it's that high.
This late in the year, it's amazing.
There's that pitch off the plate, now 2-1.
You wouldn't think that average would even be possible to add on to. I mean, that is just insane.
Sophomore. Some youngsters on this squad. Talent at the top.
Her older sister is going to be a Drake Bulldog next year, so I would assume she'll kind of not take over leadership duties, but they'll kind of pass the baton, if you will, and this team's going to be pretty good again next year.
Here's a drop into short center field, in for another hit. Make it 4 hits in the game for Leah Nelson. 3 singles, a double. She scored a run, done a little bit of everything out there with the bat.
And that's the 4th hit of this inning for the Knights, and they just keep it coming, and they sandwiched a walk in there as well. So that is 5 straight to reach base, and pinch runner time.
Yep, runner going to come into the game. That is number 20, Katie Anderson, an 8th grader. She scored a couple of runs.
Might as well give her some taste of the state tournament at Fort Dodge.
Tell you what, in 8th grade, I was not playing in any state tournaments. That is for sure.
I'll tell you that right now.
There she is, standing at second base and going through the signals. Ron Farrell is coming up. It'll be Nicole Yoder, the shortstop. Yoder 2 for 3, a run scored, also an RBI. 9-1 the score. Assumption out over center. Point-Urbana and a called strike. Yoder 364 batting average coming into tournament play. As she digs in against Bailey Smith. She'll rock and fire. Line over to the right side. Good play by the second baseman. Standing right there was Brecht, and puts it away.
And CPU just saying, finally we can get it out. I mean, that was still hit well. Just a liner, but right to Brecht, who didn't have to move. Nice play. And now Center Point is expecting something to be on the ground here. They're changing up their alignment on the infield.
Emmett Johnson tries to drop it into the outfield. Instead, standing right there was Carr. The side is retired. Not before Davenport Assumption puts 3 more on the board. On 4 hits, there were 2 runners left on. We have played 5.5. Your score, Assumption 9. Center Point-Urbana 1. We come back with more here as we continue on the Mid-American Energy Iowa High School Girls Sports Network.
Mid-American Energy, part of putting power in your hands is helping to keep families safe. That's why Mid-American provides free educational safety programs to schools, asks you to call 811 before you dig, have annual furnace inspections, and be aware of hazards at home. Mid-American Energy safely delivers electricity and natural gas to us in good times and stormy ones. That's Mid-American Energy.
Between. Stay cool with Carhartt from G&L Clothing. High-performance jackets, tees, and shorts. Whatever you do, you'll be more comfortable in Carhartt. Find it all at the Carhartt store inside G&L Clothing.
G&L Clothing. Your size, your style, we've got it all.
And some changes in the game here as Assumption has extended their lead out now 9-1 over Center Point-Urbana. Trent Connon back with Zach Carlisle here on the Mid-American Energy Iowa High School Girls Sports Network. So, Zach, new pitcher into the game coming in for the Knights. That will be number 27, Hannah Kelly. Junior, tell us a little bit about Hannah Kelly.
Yeah, Kelly's going to jump over from third base to the circle, and the designated player, Carly Salmon, is actually just going to stand in and play third base. So that's going to take their lineup down to a 9-person lineup. But let's talk a little bit about Hannah Kelly. I think when you don't get talked about quite as much, but you're still 19-1 on the year with 7. I mean, she's pitched 117 in the third innings.
Yeah.
These are pre-Fort Dodge before they came to the tournament. A .42 ERA, an opponent batting average of just a mere 160, and maybe not getting quite the headlines of Nicole Timmons, but this junior has been nothing short of spectacular.
Yeah, with Timmons moving on after next year, they're still in plenty good shape.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think they'll be okay with their pitching
I think we know who the preseason number 1 is going to be in 3A next year, and it will be Davenport Assumption.
If it's not, well, okay.
Leading things off for Center Point-Urbana, they're half of the 6th inning. It'll be Claire Chandler due up. She is 2 for 2. She's been part of the offense. 2 of the 3 hits, in fact, for the Storm Pointers have come from the left-handed swinging Claire Chandler. Shortstop, 356 batting average coming into tournament play. And the changes appear good. Home plate umpire going to do a little dust work, make that plate shine. And we're ready for action in the bottom of the 6th inning. 9-1 Assumption. The Knights wearing their white uniforms with the black pants and a called strike on the outer half. Coming right in, throwing strikes, Hannah Kelly.
I was going to get your opinion on the Center Point-Urbana uniform look with the kind of camouflage-looking tops they got right there.
There's a chopper over to third, quick throw over in time. As just coming in defensively over there at third base with Salmon. She's ready to go, cuts it off.
You bet.
Now, I'm normally not a big camo look fan, but I do enjoy the black camo like Center Point-Urbana has.
Yeah, it works well, I think, with their black pants and the yellow stripe down the side, too.
They got an excellent color scheme.
Well, there's no doubt about that.
The black and gold. You can't go wrong. The only thing better is the Kelly green of Osage. 0-1 on the foul to the left side. As Caitlin Banning, the center fielder, trying to get off the schneid. She's 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts, but now finds herself down in the count, 0-2. .452 batting average coming into tournament play, and watches a pitch off the plate. Banning, another one of the seniors for Center Point-Urbana. Knocked in 30 this year. 19 doubles, 7 triples. This one, lookout down there. Hits off the batting cage over on the right field side, and it remains 1-2.
Yeah, she's definitely had her opportunities to run produce with as good as Brecht and Chandler have been this year at that 1-2 spot in the lineup. Center Point-Urbana hasn't done much changing at all of their lineup this year with that top 3.
An off-speed pitch just off the plate. Had Banning fooled there, but she was able to keep the weight back, keep her hands back most importantly. Not offer at that one, and now tries again at 2-2.
Yeah, that's a tough take.
There's a shot into right center field, dropping in for a hit. Scoots away from the center fielder. Big turn. Banning digging for second. She'll slide in. So at the very least, a single. We'll see if they're going to give it a double out of it.
That's tough to go single and error because I don't think Banning ever broke stride.
Right.
I think she was digging for 2 the entire way. So I think that's hard to say single error just because I don't think she was ever – I think her intention was double all the way.
Made it difficult out there on Van Severen. And looks like they're going to give it a double.
If it is an error, it would be the first of the day.
Yeah.
I don't know. They might go error on that, and I'd be fine with either ruling. I think, but I guess it depends on when that ball hit off the glove. If she wasn't to first yet, I think you'd have to go single error.
They are going to give it single error.
Okay.
So the first blemish defensively in the scorebook, at least for Davenport Assumption.
Yeah, and that could easily get changed. That's a tough play.
It was.
That's a tough call to make.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes our job difficult.
It's a 50-50. It's a coin flip.
Exactly right.
You can argue either side of it. And with one out, CPU with a runner in scoring position. That's the most important part of it.
Right.
And now a chance for their cleanup hitter, Maddie Carr, to do some damage. 448 batting average. Carr, junior. And leads the team with 11 bombs. Here's a grounder over to short. With it across the diamond is Yoder in time. Runner advances up to third base. Carr cut down 6-3. Now 2 outs for Taylor Henderson.
Henderson's got the lone RBI for Center Point-Urbana today. That ground out to third in the first inning with the bases loaded, was able to push across the run. And CPU has been struggled to put across anything. They've been blank since then.
2 homers this year for Henderson, 31 knocked in. As we play in the bottom of the 6th inning, still 9-1 Davenport Assumption. CPU trying to put another run on the board, as they did back in the first inning. 9 runs on 13 hits for Davenport Assumption, the top-ranked team in Class 3A and the top seed. CPU 1 run on 4 hits, 5 errors defensively. But you said early on, it really wasn't the errors. They were able to kind of escape some damage.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse early on.
Yeah.
I mean, this game could have got out of hand in the first couple of innings, but it was a really good job by Bailey Smith to get out of it. She's really pitched, I think, well today. I think her field hasn't helped her out as much as she would have liked him to, but this game could have been a whole lot different early on. Either way, either a complete blowout or it could have been a very good game.
There's a shot over to third, and across the diamond, Kelly with another nice play. Check that. Kelly's on the mound. That was number 34, Salmon, with the putout. 5-3 for the second time. 3 groundouts. A single with an error with it. And the side is done. We go to the 7th inning. One more chance for both teams to put some runs up. Assumption with a 9-1 lead in the state semifinals in Class 3A. And back out on the mound one final time will be Bailey Smith. This score holds, though, Zach, it will be playing for third tomorrow for CPU.
Right.
And Assumption playing for the championship. You talked about it's going to be the late game for the championship in Class 3A. That'll be the final one. 5:30 will be the game time for the third place matchup between CPU if the score holds, and the loser of the Albia Mount Vernon game. That'll be the game that we have next here across the network.
Yeah, this should be a lot of fun. I think Mount Vernon with their pitcher Maddie Speed. I'm excited to watch her pitch. I think that'll be something fun to watch. I think that's going to be a good matchup, and then obviously the challenge will be when you get to that championship game, you've got a juggernaut to play. I mean, obviously this is Davenport Assumption, the overwhelming favorite coming into the tournament, but 3A's been kind of a goofy bracket, I think, with just all the upsets and all the things that have happened. So, hey, why not have somebody maybe upset number one when it comes to Championship Friday? But I think that second semifinal is going to be one to keep your eyes on. I think those are two very evenly matched teams.
Albia and Mount Vernon. It was supposed to start at 5:30. I'm going to tell you that we're not going to be able to hit that because it's already 5:36. So not going to hit the start time for the second semifinal in the Class 3A bracket.
And after that first game today in Class 4A, I thought we'd be way ahead of schedule. That thing took barely an hour and a half.
Did you say it out loud?
I did not say it out loud. I was thinking it a lot, though, so I think that's I think that's my fault. I was thinking it too much.
It's about as bad, yeah. Bailey Smith, as she takes the circle. And batting here for Davenport Assumption, number 36, Anna Wohlers. Wohlers, an 8th grader. 378 batting average. Seen some playing time as a backup catcher, 34 of 90 at the plate.
The goofy part, we saw this in the second inning, is Wohlers actually was a pinch hitter in the second, and then Van Severen came back into center field to replace her. So I thought that was interesting. Just ended up being like a ground out and a sacrifice back in the second inning.
Here's a ground ball. Good dig over there at first base by Krogan, the first baseman for CPU, putting that one away and retiring 6-3.
That was a tough hop by that first base, or right in front of the bag there, but well done. Sometimes you just close your eyes and hope you can make the play, and sure enough.
So here's Olivia Wardlow. She's had 4 plate appearances, reached on an error, both in the first and second. Popped out in the fourth and then grounded out in the sixth. She'd like to find a way to get a hit in that scorebook herself. 431 batting average. 1 out. So we play in the top of the 7th. This one shot over to the third base side and foul ground. 1-1. Well, look at the numbers for head coach Ron Farrell. 114-12 in his third year. Not going to find many win percentages better than that, I don't think, in state history. And the pitch. Fouled back out of play. And the count runs to 1 ball and 2 strikes for Olivia Wardlow.
And he's just a third-year head coach overall, not just at Davenport Assumption. He is off to a special start. And like we said, I don't think this team's going to slow down at all next year.
Even with a couple of players moving on to play D1 softball next season. Here's a pop-out. Smith almost got ran into by the third baseman. Able to stay away from each other, though, as Wade was charging in. Smith says, I'll just grab it. Smiles on the faces all around. They give each other high fives.
That's good. That's good to see, I think, out there, the smiles and the having fun. I mean, you're one of the final 4 teams at the state tournament in all of Class 3A, and then they're finding the let's have fun here in these last couple of innings, even though it's not the score they would like it to be.
0-1 for Hannah Kelly. Kelly came in and pitched last inning. She will not be eligible for the save as she came in a non-save situation, but still can close things out. Next half inning as a pitch up in the zone, 1-1. Kelly singled and scored, also stole a base back an inning ago. The sacrifice fly and a couple of pop-outs. She's officially 1 for 3. And a pitch off the plate, 2-1.
Just one of many that have really filled the stat sheet on this offense. I mean, they've run the bases well. They're getting hits. They're drawing walks. They're doing just about everything right on offense.
And a drive out into right field for Kelly. So back-to-back innings with hits for her. She's now 2 for 4 with another single. And to the cleanup spot we go for Davenport Assumption, and a 9-1 lead. 14th hit of the ball game for the Knights.
That's the other impressive thing. Their pitchers can hit.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not just good in the circle. They're not just dominant there, but they swing the bat and they work on both sides of their game, and that's going to bode well for them when they get to the next level, I think, too, especially when those seniors get moving on to play some D1 softball. That's going to – it can't hurt, I'll say that.
Yes.
Now, they might focus on just one, but probably just the pitching side, but – it definitely can't hurt in that situation.
And here comes Hannah Johnson to run. And she'll come in for the pitcher, Hannah Kelly. A couple of Hannahs changing places, and back to Emma Valanis, who is another one of those players we talked about that will be moving on collegiately. She'll be with the University of Northern Iowa. Her battery mate will be at Drake. And I have a feeling when they see each other in Missouri Conference play, might have a thing or two to say to each other.
Fun. Yeah, that'll be great.
2 outs in the top of the 7th. Assumption controls this one 9-1. Waiting for game number 2, Albion Mount Vernon. It'll take place about 20 minutes after the conclusion. Got to drag the field, get things ready, chalk it up, and get ready for softball in the second semifinal here in the Class 3A State Softball Tournament along the Mid-American Energy Iowa High School Girls Sports Network. There's the pitch from Smith, that one up in the zone. And the count runs to 2-1. Well, Assumption has run through the schedule we talked about. They're certainly the favorites here in 3A. Would they be the favorites in every class?
I would say for sure 4A. I don't know about 5A. I think that CIML kind of has that one commanded right now. But I think for sure they'd be the favorites in Class 4A. I don't know that there's many teams. I mean, I know there's been some really good ones come through that region tournament, but I think Davenport Assumption would be the favorite for sure in 3A and for sure 4A too.
Well, it's the last chance now for Center Point-Urbana as we go to the home half of the 7th inning. 9-1 Assumption with the lead. Back in 30 seconds along the Mid-American Energy Iowa High School Girls Sports Network.
At Mid-American Energy, part of putting power in your hands is helping to keep families safe. That's why Mid-American provides free educational safety programs to schools, asks you to call 811 before you dig, have annual furnace inspections, and be aware of hazards at home. Mid-American Energy safely delivers electricity and natural gas to us in good times and stormy ones. That's Mid-American Energy.
As we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, it's Davenport Assumption 9 and Center Point-Urbana 1. Trent Condon alongside Zach Carlisle in the press box here. Field number 2. This is the Class 3A semifinals. Assumption looking to punch their ticket to the state final as they'll await the winner of Albion Mount Vernon. They're 3 outs away from doing that and looking to close things out. Hannah Kelly, who came in an inning ago in a non-save situation and a 9-1 lead. It'll be due up here for Center Point-Urbana. 6, 7, 8, Holtz, Schutte, and Wade. The last gas for the Stormin' Pointers.
And you put all 3 of them together, they're 0 for 6. So hopefully we'll see if one of them can find a way to either get on base or get a base hit in what will likely be their final at-bat.
Holtz will get the first opportunity at that as the right-handed swinging catcher digs in. The pitch from Kelly, off-speed pitch. She starts off, and a called strike, 0-1.
Oh, that's a good pitch. That's a tough pitch to take, and paints corners with it. Very, very well.
Holtz, one of the senior starters for CPU. 7 senior starters, along with a couple of juniors. Have a bit of a rebuild next year, it appears, but a program that's been built up pretty well. Here's a little looper over to the right side, putting it away is the first baseman, number 36 for Assumption, and a substitute. As that is Anna Wohlers, who you talked about earlier, came in, then went out, came in.
Yeah, I don't think she'll go back out and come back in again. But
1 out. And it will be number 14 now. That is Madeline Hines. Hines, a sophomore. How about this? Pretty good numbers out of her in limited action.
I was thinking the same thing. Her
3 of 5, 600.
And that many limited opportunities to come through like that. That's impressive. She scored 10 times, too.
Probably used as a courtesy runner, I'm going to guess.
Right.
And, well, her
walked 5 times, too.
Her OPS is over 2,500. Here's a pop out to the left side.
Oh, man. She's going to end up 500. She's
think she'll be able to live with that one.
I think so.
So the pop out there, 1 out away from the state championship game for Davenport Assumption. And it will be, check that, Madeline Hines. Hines is up. We missed who that one was. I saw Hines' number stepping in there.
I did as well.
And they went with a different batter. So Hines has still got a chance to improve on that
She's
600 batting average.
So
3 of 5. 2 homers this year. How about that? 3 hits, 2 of them bombs, 4 RBI.
You gotta be kidding me.
She's walked 5 times. A slugging percentage of 1.800. Hey, that's better than Barry Bond's numbers there.
I was gonna say those numbers are crazy inflated.
It's more slow pitch softball slugging percentage numbers than the real thing we got here. Pitch up in the zone, 1-1. That she'll be a big part of certainly what they look forward to next year. Madeline Hines, one of the sophomores.
And this was one of the more experienced teams, so they're going to have some work to do in terms of bringing back folks and kind of refueling that lineup, if you will.
And now 1-2. CPU down to their final strike. Assumption looking to put this thing away and move on to tomorrow night's state championship game for Class 3A, 7:09. The first pitch, and you can catch that on IPTV. Fouled to the left side. Back at 1-2.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Our friends over there do such a great job with Championship Friday, and that's going to be a blast, those 5 games tomorrow.
Digging back in, Madeline Hines. As she looks out at Kelly. Kelly ready with the pitch. Drive into center field. It's coming in, putting it away. And that will put them 1 out away. All right, so we missed something there because
how many outs do you get?
That's what it was,
That's
an
what we
illegal
missed.
pitch. So when we thought it was a pop out to the shortstop, Zach missed it. I missed it.
I did.
Pete had it. And they helped us out down the way. So now there's 2 outs. Now Hines is retired.
We're not sure.
And this time it will be at number 18, Alyssa Wade, the senior. 337 batting average, couple home runs, and a swing and a miss, 1-1. Wade so far 0 for 2, struck out in the second, lined out in the 5th. And looking to extend this ball game down 9-1. Wade dribbles it down the third base line, but just foul. Trying to come over and make that play right away was Salmon, but just had dribbled into the foul territory.
From the limited action she's got over there, she looks like she could play third base every day. I think that wouldn't hinder them at all. I wonder if we'll see some of that in the future.
Yeah.
Just
quite the luxury.
Right.
That they have. Off-speed pitch. Just getting a piece with it. Just staying alive is Alyssa Wade. Wade, the third baseman for Center Point-Urbana, 30-10 on the year. Looks like they'll be playing for third place tomorrow. Here's a grounder over to third again.
There it is.
This time making the play in time, and Davenport Assumption will be moving on. They will play tomorrow for the state championship, 7:09 on Buena Vista University Diamond. A 9-1 victory. Assumption, well, an impressive performance out of them, Zach. Able to do a lot of different things. Kept that pressure on, most importantly. Had some opportunities early, weren't able to break through, but they just kept coming all game long against CPU.
Absolutely, and that's where those early errors really, really hurt the Storm and Pointers. And just a great job by the Knights to, as you mentioned, you just keep the pedal down. And eventually those hits are going to find gaps, and eventually they're going to bring in runs. And the floodgates sort of opened up. They never really got going completely. They did have the one big sixth inning. But aside from that, I was really impressed with what Center Point-Urbana was able to do today. It didn't turn out the way they wanted it to, but it's just that good of an opponent that they were facing today, and the pitching was that good again. 1 run on just 4 hits, and Davenport Assumption, that favorite, they're right where they want to be, playing for that title game tomorrow.
Very close now. 43-1 on the season for Davenport Assumption, and looking to make it 44 consecutive wins tomorrow in the state championship game. Who will they play? Well, we will find out here in just a little bit. Game number 2 from the Class 3A semifinals over here on Diamond number 2. It'll be the 7th-seeded Albia Lady D's 29-8 against 6th-seeded Mount Vernon 29-15. That'll be our game coming up here in just a little bit. That put a cap on things with the Assumption victory. 9-1 the final score, as Davenport Assumption continues their roll to a Class 3A title and another victory, their 43rd straight. Final score for the final time, Davenport Assumption 9, Center Point-Urbana 1. We'll take the break and come back here in just a little bit with Albion Mount Vernon for a chance to move on to the state championship game, as that comes your way next on the Mid-American Energy Iowa High School Girls Sports Network.
And word of mouth. That's the main ways we receive our customers now, and after being here 10 years, that has just exploded for us. And that's a big area of our business because people like the way they were treated. The customer experience we can provide is second to none, and we're committed to it. And I'm here to make sure that gets done.
Schottenkirk Chevy on the west end of Hickman, Waukee, WaukeeChevy.com.
Repeat and referral,